Okay, what's going on, my people? It's your boy Mario, and this is another episode of Revelations Reacts. Thank you so much to every single one of you who tune in. Greatly appreciate you. Please subscribe to the channel. Please drop a like, drop a comment if you vibed with the content that you watched or will watch just now. Okay, so this is a very sensitive topic. I'm going to tread lightly. I'm going to tread quickly because, just because. And yeah, it is regarding a controversial song that was supposed to be, for lack of a better term, an anthem in Colombia, in the Latin urban world, specifically the reggaeton world. So what am I talking about? I am talking about the Colombian reggaeton all-star song Más 57, or plus 57. Now, right now, I'm not sure if that is the area code for Medellin, Colombia, or just all of Colombia in general, so my bad. But the song is referencing a specific area code in Colombia, where I believe all of these artists are from. And who are these artists? They are Karol G, Feid. So who are these artists? Karol G, Feid, Maluma, J Balvin. The producer is Ovi on the drums. And I don't know what this person's name is. It's a new artist. It's DFZM. I can't honestly tell you what it means or how to pronounce it. My bad. But yeah, it's a song that was supposed to be an amazing hit, you know, kind of like coming full circle with all the Colombian artists that have emerged since, I believe, maybe let's say 2013, 14, where the Colombian reggaeton explosion happened, right? And unfortunately, the song was met with a lot of controversy and is due to a specific lyric by Feid in the song that was perceived to mean that he was into girls that are 14. But me personally, I'm the type of person that I like to lean into conspiracy theories, and I like to research them. You know, I don't just like to stay there on the surface area of it. But I don't think that they meant harm, or what people have been I don't think the song means what made it go viral, which is a song about underage girls. There is something in there that I don't agree with. That yes, it may be normal that in, you know, other countries outside of North America that underage people do go to clubs, but I have never been for it. I've never agreed with it. I don't think kids should be groomed into the club vibe at such a young age, especially with a lot of predators, you know, that have been known to do weird things regarding these all ages events, including here in Toronto. So let's get right into it. I'm going to share a clip from Reggaeton TV, which is, I believe, affiliated with Rap TV, an American Instagram account. But this one is based out of Medellin, Colombia, based on what is in their bio. So it's in Spanish, so I'll do my best to summarize what the guy was saying, okay?
Como todos nos hemos dado cuenta, están cancelando a la canción Más 57. Y más que todo a Karol G, pues es la dueña de la canción. Unos porque esperaban una canción diferente, algunos por malinterpretar partes de la letra de la canción. Y bueno, ustedes ya han visto lo que se ha comentado. Y por otro lado, han habido artistas y personas que por lo contrario la han enaltecido. Como por ejemplo Tempo o Farruko, quien dijo que eran un ejemplo, pues son los artistas más grandes que hay en Colombia y dejaron a un lado cualquier tipo de ego o diferencias que tuvieran para hacer música, que al fin y al cabo a eso se dedican. Karol G ya hizo un comunicado pidiendo disculpas a las personas que de pronto malinterpretaron la letra de la canción o que la vieron desde otra perspectiva. Incluso J Balvin se hizo sentir en nuestra página, pues hizo un comentario en un post de nosotros para las personas que la critican, diciéndole que no se metan más con ella y que si se van a meter con ella se meten con todos. Yo no sé si los están funando porque es un junte de las personas más influyentes en la música que hay en este momento en Colombia, o porque no les gustó la canción, o simplemente por funar el reggaetón. Pues letras así han existido durante toda la vida en todos los géneros y nunca había llegado hasta este punto. ¿Qué piensan ustedes? ¿Es un error esta canción o es una exageración que están llevando al límite?
Okay, so my bad. I don't know what happened with the audio there. I don't know if it was on my end or their end. It's like the beat was kind of skipping, the background beats. So essentially what he was saying, the gentleman in the video, he was not wrong. You know, the song that was supposed to mean so much, even Puerto Rican reggaeton artists were giving it props. Farruko, Tempo, who are both legends. They focus on the side where it's like, wow, what an amazing feat that a bunch of Colombian artists got together, put their egos aside, and just created music. That's not the issue at hand, though. The issue at hand was a lyric by Feid that was taken the wrong way. And recently, they actually went back and re-recorded that part. And instead of mentioning a 14-year-old girl, they mentioned an 18-year-old girl now. They changed that lyric. And it's unfortunate. And the one person that's been getting the most heat from it is Karol G, because it is her song featuring all of the Colombian reggaeton elite. And maybe not all of them, because there is another controversy that came out of the song that Fariana, formerly known as Farina, she was actually left out of the song. Now, why was she left out of the song? Well, there's a lot of different reasons. A lot of people, including Fariana, think that Karol G just doesn't want to share the spotlight with other Colombian female artists. Others are saying she's not friends with any of these people, right? She's linked up with people outside of Colombia, so that's not really her circle. And there's also the controversy that Fariana is friends with Yailin La Más Viral, which is the baby mother of Anuel, who is Karol G's ex-boyfriend. And Latin drama, entertainment drama. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to talk about that. There are other platforms that exist for that. Today's topic is going to be talking about the issue of PDF files in Latin America and the Caribbean, and how it's still a normal thing for child marriage in a lot of countries, believe it or not, in Latin America and the Caribbean. And I am glad that, maybe this situation happened to bring light to this. And I feel like it's a huge coincidence that just recently, if I'm not mistaken, this week, Colombia's parliament passed a bill or a law prohibiting or outlawing the marriage of those under 18, if I'm not mistaken. And that raised up a major question for me. It's like, how is this still happening, right? We would think that this is happening in other places that are more religious in different ways, or more impoverished places. But a lot of Latin America has become, I would believe, maybe not financially or economically, but I feel like they've gotten with the times a little bit more. And I think some are, getting to that point where doing things with minors or whatever is not okay, or realizing that it's not okay. But it's just weird. For me, it's just really weird that we have to have this conversation, especially about Latin America. So let's look at some details, right, of some stuff that I came across, including that news in Colombia. Okay, so what we are seeing here, right, is that, hold on, let me close this so it doesn't close up. Right, so reps cheer as Colombian Senate approves law banning child marriage after 17-year campaign. Colombian representatives erupted in cheers after the country's Senate approved a law prohibiting the marriage of minors on Wednesday, November 13th. Following a 17-year campaign to ban child marriage, footage posted to X by House of Representatives of Colombia members Alexandra Vasquez shows representatives cheering and hugging each other after finding out the law had been approved on Wednesday after a lengthy debate. The fact that there had to be a debate. Vasquez and Representative Jennifer Pedraza have been pushing the bill since 2007. According to a local news report, the bill prohibits marriage between minors under 18 and between minors and adults. The bill requires Colombian President Gustavo Petro's signature for final approval. Yo, this guy better sign that. You understand, bro? You better sign that. And this is the fact that it had to be debated, So shout out to you. ¿Dónde están? Where are you? Alexandra Vasquez and Jennifer Pedraza. God bless you. Because honestly, this is insane that this was even a conversation to be had. But, I understand, like, other countries are still a little bit behind, especially nowadays with the amount of brain rot that exists on the internet. Social media has dumbed down society a lot, especially the kids. So I really don't believe that we are currently living in a time where kids are mentally developed enough to understand how serious marriage is and the commitment that it is. They're still learning. They're still discovering themselves, A lot of people still want to go to school, achieve so much more. But kids are being held back in a lot of Latin American countries and in the Caribbean. Right, so I'm very grateful that this is what's come up this week regarding Colombia. And it's weird that, Colombia has had this weird spotlight on them this week. Colombia is an amazing country. I myself have been there. It's beautiful, and I never knew that this was a thing. I wouldn't say to them they think it's a problem, or maybe they do, because that's why it's now coming into law. But I really hope that the president signs this bill into law, because this is weird. Okay, even 18, I think, is still too young to get married. So that made me ask myself a few other questions, right? What are those countries? Who are those countries that still allow for underage marriage, right? But before we get into that, this is something that I've been discussing with people for a long time. You know, the reggaeton has not only been a, you know, sexually explicit genre of music, but they've also mentioned doing things with minors in these songs. And here's an example. You know, a lot of people love Plan B, so my bad if this is for you, but I don't care to offend anybody. And Chencho and Maldi, like, yo, you guys, I'm surprised nobody has asked you guys about this song, but I'm questioning what the heck, guys, with this song. This song is from Looney Tunes' Mas Flow album, which was released, I believe, in 2003 or 2004, which is one of my favorite albums, but these lyrics have always been questionable. And hear what Chencho says here, and I'll translate it for you. Yeah, so what Chencho said there was that it don't if you are underage. And if you need any more convincing, went over here to Genius, looked up the song, and what he's saying is here, let's translate this section into English. I kidnap you and you don't tell me anything. I touch you and I see that you like it. It doesn't matter if you're a minor. After you have flow and you are ready. Now, this is being translated from Puerto Rican slang, which is different. But essentially what he's saying is like, I kidnap you and you don't say nothing. I touch you and I see that you like it. It doesn't matter if you're underage. After you have flow and you'll be ready. I don't care, but this was never okay. These lyrics were never, ever, ever okay or acceptable in any way. And it's kind of crazy that they were comfortable enough to say this in a song. But mind you, Puerto Rico was also one of those countries, if I'm not mistaken, that has banned child marriage. So maybe this was before those times. But even then, guys, like, you're making songs about being explicit with minors and nobody's ever called you out on it. Instead, your careers have skyrocketed. Chencho just put out an album recently, and these guys, their nickname is the Duo of Sex. You know, they have great songs, but it's just that one right there. It shows me that, like, you guys have done stuff with minors. You know, and it's weird. It was a different time. I know, I'm not here to cancel anybody. But if you guys are still doing these type of things, you know, you should be called out, because that's some Diddy behavior. Allegedly. Pero, yeah. So, that came to mind, you know, this song, and it was just very, very strange. So a lot of people would think that these type of issues are only happening in, you know, the Middle East or in some Muslim African countries, right? Or predominantly Muslim countries, right? But here we are finding out, for those of us like myself that didn't know until how this song Mas 57 or Plus 57 by Karol G went viral, right? So I decided to look at where else, you know, this has been an issue, right? So I went over here to Tico Times, Costa Rica's leading English language newspaper, because I wanted to see a list of what nations are still doing this or have been doing this. All right, so here's some stats. 1 in 5 girls or teenagers gets married or lives in a de facto union before reaching the age of 18 in Latin America. The only region where child marriages have not decreased. Experts and activists warned the OAS this Wednesday. Right, and where is it? I saw something here. So according to a study by this committee here of experts, the countries that set the minimum legal age for marriage at 18, without exceptions, are Antigua and Barbuda, Chile, Costa Rica, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Panama, Dominican Republic, and Trinidad and Tobago. And this is from when? October 12th, 2023. Okay. Others have decreed 16 years with exceptions. Barbados, Belize, Bolivia, Brazil, Dominica, Grenada, Jamaica, Nicaragua, Paraguay, Peru, St. Lucia, and Uruguay. And in others, it is not even necessary to have turned 16, except in some cases, such as Argentina, Bahamas, Colombia, but we got to take Colombia out of this one now, right? Cuba, Guyana, Haiti, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I don't know this country, Suriname, and Venezuela. In other words, we socially allow this to happen, says Mejia, warning that there is even a higher prevalence of informal unions in girls as young as 8 or 9. Okay, people? So I really hope and I pray that all the Latin American countries catch up to this, because I think you should set the bare minimum to 21. That's just me, because I feel like even at 21 in today's society, you're still not developed enough to make a serious decision like getting married. You're still growing, like you're still learning so much more about yourself. There's so many more opportunities living in today's society, right? To succeed and excel in, academia and other forms of career paths, right? And to give up all of that and become committed to somebody, it's such a weird age, in my opinion, right? So child marriage, weird. And this is according to NCBI, right? National Library of Medicine. Here's a table, right, showing prevalence rates in Latin American countries, region, and in case study countries. So marriage by 15, the percentage, right? And they don't have a general thing over here for Latin America and Caribbean region, but it's specifically in Brazil. Married by age 15 in Brazil, 11%. Guatemala, 7%. Honduras, 8%. That's still 1%. Like, even 1% is too much or too many. Married by the age of 18. In Latin America, 29%. Like, I just feel like we're stalling the futures of these young ladies by forcing them or allowing them to think that they're old enough to make these commitments, right? In Honduras, it's 34%. Guatemala, 30%. And this is from the UNICEF Global Databases 2014. Right, so very interesting, right? But that's the negative side of things, I think, looking at what countries are still practicing this. But then we got to go and look at some other things, right? From what I'm reading here, right, and the Human Rights Watch, time to get serious about child marriage in Latin America. From what they're saying here, my bad, where to go? Honduras parliamentarians this week unanimously passed a bill making child marriage illegal. They took the leadership on an issue that deserves urgent attention in Latin America. As momentum builds across the globe to end this abusive practice, Latin America is lagging, unfortunately, right? Governments, including Latin American governments, have committed under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to eliminate child early and forced marriage by 2030. Germany, Malawi, Nepal, and the Netherlands, Sweden, Spain, as well as several U.S. states have recently passed laws cracking down on child marriage. Many countries are developing plans for how to end child marriage by 2030. Latin America has not followed suit, and that's not because there isn't a problem there. The region has alarmingly high rates of child marriage. According to UNICEF, in 5 countries, at least 30% of girls marry before the age of 18. Once again, reiterating what I read before. Nicaragua has the highest rate at 41%, and the others are Brazil, Dominican Republic, Guatemala, and Honduras. In 11 more countries, Belize, Bolivia, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guyana, Mexico, Panama, and Uruguay, between 20 and 30% of girls marry before age 18. These rates rival those in high prevalence countries in Africa and Asia, where more attention has been paid to the issue. Right? That's troubling to me, folks. That's troubling. But here's some good news. Colombia is now one of 12 countries out of the 33 in Latin America and the Caribbean to have entirely banned marriage under the age of 18, following Honduras, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and the Dominican Republic. So going back to the video that I showed you from Plan B, the Reggaeton song, in Puerto Rico, it was a normal thing. But still, a part of you has to be like, she's too young for you, bro. Another thing that's unfortunate, right, is that, this is from August 16th, 2024. In Iraq, they're going backwards. Parliament poised to legalize child marriage. Like, what the heck? What's wrong with you guys? And I don't think this is a religion thing. I think this is just people are still behind in progressing This is one of the good ways to progress, you know, to not think that this is okay to marry kids. Like, what the heck? Right? What does it say? If passed, the amendment would have disastrous effects on women's and girls' rights guaranteed under international law by allowing marriage for girls as young as 9, undermining the principle of equality under Iraqi law, and removing protections for women regarding divorce and inheritance. That's weird. That's really weird. You know? Here's some more news. This is published July 5th by this is a Canadian news site, Global News. I guess this is a little bit of hope.
In a nation scarred by decades of conflict and societal norms, a new law marks a pivotal moment for Sierra Leone. The legislation championed by the First Lady aims to end a harmful practice ingrained in the nation's fabric.
General societal beliefs that males are more valuable than females.
Valda Cargbo highlights the significance of the legislative milestone, but notes no details have been provided on how the law will be implemented. Her organization played a crucial role in resettling more than 700 Sierra Leonean refugees across Canada. She emphasizes a need to address the factors which perpetuate child marriages in Sierra Leone.
There's a lot of thinking that investing in girls' education is not worth it because she's likely going to get pregnant before she can finish school.
Albert Makoti's wife came to Canada through Cargbo's program. He spent half his life in Sierra Leone and endured the horrors of war firsthand.
In a country where illiteracy is high, most people will not even hear about this. They will not even read about this law, this new enactment. They will not even know. So until the government raise awareness.
I did remember having a relative that was going to be married as a teenager.
Sierra Leone has one of the highest child marriage and maternal mortality rates in the world. According to the country's Ministry of Health, about a third of girls are married before 18, another third giving birth before 19. The new law was passed after girls across the country campaigned to criminalize the practice.
As the role of women and girls is better recognized as core to our social fabric and advancing our economies and our world in a way that it wasn't thought of as before.
Advocates say the new legislation marks a triumph for human rights and a step towards a brighter future for Sierra Leone's next generation.
Okay, so that's unfortunate, those statistics. And they said a very, very key thing there is, how is this going to be enforced? And that's another question that I have for Colombia is, how is this going to be enforced? And the countries that have already implemented this in Latin America and the Caribbean, how is it currently being enforced? Right? That's where my natural skepticism kicks in. Right? So everything that I just shared with you, my thoughts that I shared with you, I really hope that it raises the discussion about PDF files lurking everywhere in government, the fact that this had to be debated, continues being debated, the fact that it's not just automatically been brought into law across the globe is a problem. Okay, that in 2024 there's still people that think it's okay to marry a child. Like, what? I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all decide, you know, and well, I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all drop a comment down below, share your thoughts about this very sensitive topic. I think it's quite obvious. I don't need to ask y'all, what do you think about this? It's pretty obvious what we all think about this. You're too young to get married. Under 18, even 18 for me is too young. Even 21 for me is too young. Right? But I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel if you vibed with this, if it was thought-provoking. Please share it with somebody that you know. They might find this information useful. And yeah, I am out. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Rebelations Reacts. I am your boy Mario. Peace.